See, the other day I was scrolling along Roblox trying to look for a good game, and then I suddenly found the perfect game. Fisch! The most mastercrafted game ever. And what is it about? Fishing. So I was like, what could I do with this? Well, I mean, a fish and a cat are the same thing. So why not make a Scratch game about it? What's going on, guys? And today I'm going to be remaking Fisch from Roblox in Scratch. Once the project was created, I began by making movement for the player, managing to make velocity for the player so they could move side to side and have speed, and making it so the player could jump and also have gravity to pull them back down. Here's the final code for the player's speed and the player's jumping ability. And for someone like me that isn't exactly the greatest at making games, the jumping and moving mechanics actually turned out very great. Right now, as it currently stands, the entire map is literally just a purple rectangle for the floor, and that is completely it. So I think it's about time we redid everything and made it look a little bit better. Not exactly saying I'm the greatest artist, but I'm trying my best. My new map design was plain and simple. The sky was just a light blue with a nice bright yellow sun, which was quite nice. And just had a plain simple grass ground. But I also made it so there was a nighttime version of the map. And with a bit of simple coding that would eventually get retweaked over time to be properly functional, we had managed to make a time-changing device. This would make it so after a certain period of time, the sky would become night, and then after a little bit longer, once it hit the daytime, it would become day. So when it's actually morning and nighttime outside of your house, it'll be morning and nighttime inside of the game, which I think is awesome. Now, I can't help but feel that this little Scratch guy is a bit of a loser. No one likes him really, let's be honest. Look at this guy, he's smiling. Now I'm going to make a new player model to fix him up. Couldn't have said it any better past me. Let's cue the music and make a new player design. Yeah, the character model was actually the noob from Roblox. Who could have guessed that? But to be honest, it's kind of bad looking because there's no animations and stuff. So probably for like the next hour I'm just going to work on that. It's definitely not going to take more than that, right? Surprisingly, I managed to create the jumping animation pretty well, and in my opinion, I think it looks exactly like the one in Roblox. This cannot be said about the walking animation, as there's many failures before we make the perfection walking animation. Attempts, I finally got a walking animation that I was actually happy with, and now I could move on to building the dock. To begin with, I only made a simple design that was mainly just to be used as a template, and I also made another sprite so that we could go in between the different areas, so the starting area and the dock area. After realising there would be a beach underneath the dock, I decided to redo the grass floor at the starting area. It would be a bit more sandy looking, and it would just blend in more of the whole beach area where the dock was going to go. Alrighty, so as you guys can see, I've got a little bit of a sandy floor going on here. I'll finish this because it's a bit red and bulky and bad looking. So that's exactly what I did. Remaking the dock so it actually looked somewhat decent. In the end, I would say the dock ended up looking pretty good. But now it's time to move on to actually making the fishing mechanics. However, I have to do another mind-numbing task of making more animations so we can actually fish and it looks good. Wait, before we get any further into the video, I just want to let you guys know that I actually have a Discord server, and the first 100 people to join will get a limited time role called OG member. because you were the first ones to ever join. And I'm pretty active on the Discord server, so if you ever want to ask me questions or anything about videos and find out when videos and live streams are going to happen, then you should definitely join it. Link in the description. So in Fisch, there's quite a lot of rods, but to begin with, I think we're just going to do a few. So the starting rod here has like a silvery liner thing, darker wooden handle, lighter wooden, and it's got a leaf on it. Then we have this one, which is a lighter blue with a light blue tip, and it's kind of cool. And then we have our plastic rod, which is 900. It's quite fancy, with a red, yellow, light blue, and a yellow tip. And then lastly, throughout the fishing rods, not these ones because I don't want to do them, is the carbon rod, and this is the last one we're going to be doing. And it's quite simple, quite nice, got a bit of a diamond shape on the handle. Yeah, and it's looking pretty good, so let's get back to the game now. So looking at the designs of the fishing rods, I began trying to recreate that in Scratch. And it's not exactly the easiest process, if I'm being honest. Unlucky for me, when creating the animation, I actually hadn't added the fishing rod yet, so I now had to go back and redo the animation, but this time adding in the fishing rod to it. So far, this is what it looks like. And for anyone curious, this is the code I'm using to make the fishing rod animation actually play. The next few minutes were spent designing a fishing line with a lure at the bottom, which probably should have only taken 10 seconds, but I just couldn't decide on what the lure should actually look like. Didn't stop there though. Afterwards, I had to design a shake button, which is a thing you click in Fisch to shake your lure about to attract fish. Finally, I could start creating the code for the shake sprite, because it's really boring designing it. I'd just rather code. Now I'm back to one of my least favourite things, and probably one of the reasons that this video takes so long, making animations. Luckily for me, this animation was just making the lure go all the way up the fishing rod, and it was quite simple to do. I spent 4 minutes just linking everything up together so the animation would work in sequence with the whole shake button and everything, and here's the final result. So now if we click the button, we're going to start fishing. We've got a little shake icon where we're going to start shaking, and it's like a random, and then we're going to pull it up, and this is where we're going to be able to collect our fish. Sadly, I haven't added that yet, but that's what I'm about to do right now. I began making a design for the fish, and I'm just going to go through them all real quick. The first one I made was the blobfish, which is a nice little pink jelly looking guy, and he's a bit goofy looking. He's one of my favourites. Then I made a salmon, but ended up becoming a long fish instead, and he's a bit ugly looking, but he's still pretty cool anyway. Then, after realising I accidentally made a long fish, I decided to go into the theme, and I made a fish with a long head, which is now known as headfish. And he's a bit ugly, and there's not much else to say about that. I don't really like him, if I'm being honest. Then, something that actually did turn out cool, but doesn't really look like a fish, is the leg fish. Instead of having like fins and little flappers, he just has feet. Now we're onto the rarer fish, such as the hammerhead shark, which I actually really like the design of, and I think it's pretty cool. And something that was also basically similar to it, and it looks identical almost, is the megalodon. Except the megalodon is like 10 times bigger, and it looks a bit angry. The rarest fish you can get is a dirty old sock. Okay, if I'm being honest with you, for the next 20 minutes, I don't really do anything interesting. The most exciting part that I made is that you're actually able to get fish now. Other than that, I just tinkered about with the fishing mechanics and got it to a point where it was nice and smooth and very fun to play with. The final thing that needed to be added was the shop. So this is the place that you could sell your fish and buy new fishing rods. So I decided to use my old teleportation sprite, but this time so it could teleport you to a new open grass field area where the shop was going to be. I whipped up a quick little design of what the shop was going to look like. I began work on what the shopkeeper was going to look like. Now, I wasn't entirely sure what to base him on. All I knew was he had to look like someone that was cool, epic, handsome, spectacular, and someone that you should 100% subscribe to. And in case you couldn't guess it already, that shopkeeper was gonna be me. After making it, when you clicked on the shopkeeper, it would come up with a UI system. I decided to start making them actually functional. The first thing I decided to tackle was the sell fish button. So let's cue the music and let's start coding. And we shouldn't have anything left to work. So if I do sell fish, I sold all, and we got 18 cash. Okay, so that's great. Our selling system is working. Now that the selling fish works, there is only one last thing I need to do to make this basically a functional fish game, which is the ability to buy different fishing rods in the shop. You see, there's one issue with that. To do that, I would need to recreate every animation with the new fishing rods, so that's like 4 times more animations. Then I'd have to increase the RNG boost, like the luck, and I would also have to recreate shop icons, and it would just take a lot of effort. But there's one thing you should know about me, is that I don't give up. So we have one last thing to do, which is to finish making this game. And that is it. The game is finished. Fully complete. There's currently 3 fishing rods in the shop. They're quite expensive, so it'll take you a while to grind for them. And the whole fishing mechanic, selling mechanic, everything works perfectly. It's been tested pretty well. If you do find any bugs, you should join my Discord to tell me about them. But other than that, this has been very fun making. If you want to play the game for yourself, it'll be in the description. And I hope you enjoyed this video.